So good morning everyone and welcome to your channel Learn Data Science with Pranjal. So in this series of videos, I'll try to cover the time series topic, the entire theory part and also the coding part in Python in Jupyter Notebook. So instead of making one large video, what I have thought is to make several small videos which would be covering sections and subsections within the time series so that any person who wants to learn time series can easily go through the videos and can get the knowledge. So let's get started. So first of all, why do we need time series? So we have seen a supervised model, we have seen an unsupervised model, we have seen our NLP, we have seen our neural networks. So using our X, we can predict our Y variable. So what is the specific need of time series? See, in time series models, we do not have a separate X variables and a separate Y variable. Normally, we would be having just one column, and that is why we also call time series as a univariate time series. Why univariate? Because we do not have any another variable. We have just one variable. One is our time. So time is kind of our independent, and then we have the values. So time series models are used in the use cases are in a way kind of infinite. So I have written few of the use cases over here. So if you want to find the daily forecast, if you want to find weekly, monthly forecast, quarterly forecast, annual forecast, obviously yes, you can use your time series model. Let's say there is a shopping mall and the shopping mall is interested to find out how many people would be visiting my mall today or how much would be the footfall today. So again, the time series model will come to the picture. So time series can also be used for your monthly expenditures. You can predict your GDPs, uh, GDP, and then time series. The use cases can be another as well. So time series can also be used in your stock markets, though it is not much recommended in stock market because stock markets work more on emotions and they may not always follow the previous pattern. And in time series, we are assuming that we would be using the previous pattern to forecast the values in the next time interval. Let's talk about the patterns in the time series. So directly, normally what we have seen is that people directly open the Jupyter notebook and they build the model, but even we can do that. But it's better if we try to understand some basics in time series. So in time series, broadly there are four patterns. One is our trend, seasonality, cyclic, and random. So what about trend? So let's discuss about the first pattern, trend. So trend is when the values are either continuously increasing or decreasing with the time. So trends basically can be of two types. One is your uptrend and another is your downtrend. So uptrend as in where the values are consistently increasing with the time. There might be few small intervals where the values might have decreased, but on a broader scale the values have been increasing. In downtrend, it's just opposite of uptrend. The values are continuously decreasing. So in your graph number one, you can see it is in uptrend, and graph number two also shows your uptrend. On your x-axis, we will always have our time, and on y-axis we will have our values. So graph number 3 and 4 shows our downtrend. So let's take an example of of uptrend. So we can say the example of uptrend would be sales of your smartphones. So in last several years, the sales of the smartphone has been in uptrend. Or if we say the Indian stock market, the stock market has been broadly, let's say if we talk about last 20 years, so broadly it has been in uptrend. So there might be few small intervals. Let's say during the COVID it came down, but then again it is up. A few years back again it was down for a few quarters or for a year or two, but on a larger scale it is being in uptrend. Let's take an example of a downtrend. So in downtrend, if we say the sales of your traditional phones, so normally the sales of the smartphone is in uptrend, so sales of the traditional phone is in downtrend, or the sales of our traditional TVs, so it is in downtrend, or sales of the cameras would be in downtrend over the couple of years. So let's talk about the next pattern in the time series, that is your seasonal. So seasonal as in the values increase and decrease with a fixed time interval. Make a note over here that the fixed time interval, we are giving a stress on the fixed time interval. So the values will increase or decrease in a fixed time interval. So a series can be in uptrend and can be seasonal at the same time. Series can be in downtrend and seasonal at the same time. And series might be just in seasonal. So if you see the first figure, the series is purely seasonal. On our x-axis, we have time, where t indicates your time and v indicates your value. And the second one is your seasonal as well as in uptrend. And the third one, it is seasonal and in downtrend. So let's take an example. So for example, let's say the number of people visiting a shopping mall or number of people visiting a restaurant within a week. So it would be seasonal. So within a week, the values will increase and decrease. On Mondays, the values would be lowest, and then they may maximize towards the Sunday, and then again they may suddenly decrease. So this, the first one can be the sales of your or people visiting the hotel or the number of restaurant, and then it can be seasonal and it can be uptrend also. So let's say the number of people, let's say the sales of ice creams, so it may suddenly increase in a particular season, and if we compare from the previous year, it might be in uptrend. So these type of things can be observed. Now let's talk about the third pattern, which is cyclic, which normally we don't use much in our time series model. So cyclic is something similar to your seasonal. The values increase and decrease in cyclic, but the time period is normally or generally more than 2 years. So for example, let's say the interest rates or the inflation, or let's say the unemployment rate. So these things will not, so let's say if the inflation starts to increase, it will not happen that on 1 month it is increasing and then second month again decreases and third month increases. So normally inflation, once it starts, it may keep on increasing for several quarters, and then only it may start to decrease. Or let's talk about the interest rate. So interest rate, when they start to increase, they may increase for several quarters or several years, and then only they will start to decrease. And you do not have a fixed time interval in your cyclic. In your seasonal, you have a fixed time interval. In cyclic, you may not have fixed time interval. Let's talk about the fourth pattern in the time series, that is your random. So as the word random suggests, the values do not have correlation with the time. So the time may pass or the time may change, but the values are not dependent upon the time. And the classical example of this is the stock market. So I know I put the stock market as an uptrend. So stock market might be in uptrend or in downtrend in the long run. So let's say on a yearly basis or 2 yearly basis, but in a short term, let's say in a day or a two, it is obviously random. So time series models are definitely not suggested on your stock market. So that's it in this video. Please refer to the next video for more topics in the time series. So thank you again for watching.